you're going to be in the last. No upgrade. No work.
Zero upgrades. We need one.
Mercedes' win at the Canadian Grand Prix means Ferrari are now the only one of F1's big four teams without a full race victory so far this season, with the team struggling for consistency with their SF25 car throughout a whole race weekend. Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton finished 5th and 6th respectively in Montreal, with the latter admitting afterwards that they are really in need of an upgrade to try and close the gap to the front. Without specifically stating at which of the next two races that car changes would arrive, the Austrian GP this weekend or British GP on July 4th to 6th, team boss Frederic Vasseur confirmed new parts were on their way, although stressed this was not actually where he felt they required most attention. "We will have an upgrade soon before UK, and perhaps another one a bit later," said Vasseur. "But, honestly, I think there is much more in execution and what you get from the car than the potential of the car itself. Now we are at the end of the regulations. When we bring something to the track, we are speaking hundredths rather than tenths, and if you don't use the car well, you lose tenths. That's happened a couple of times on our side at least, and we are not the only one. When we brought upgrades in the past, we needed 1 or 2 races to adapt the car to the setup of the new version. I want to put the focus on the team much more on the execution than on the pure potential of the car. But we will bring something." Hamilton had told Sky Sports F1 after the race in Canada, "We are really in need of an upgrade, and there's lots of things that need to change for us to compete at the front. We have something hopefully coming next week. Austria? I don't know if it's much, how much it is. I don't think it's a lot. I just think it's one of those years." Vasseur conceded Ferrari had failed massively in Canada to perfectly execute their race weekend, something he sees as being crucial, particularly around tire usage, if they are to turn their disappointing season around. Asked about their prospects at Austria's medium-speed Red Bull ring, Vasseur said, "The pace was decent in Barcelona, that we were quick in Sector 1 there. We were quick in Monaco. Even before the weekend, you have to put everything together in the right place if you want to achieve a good result. In the tire usage and the tire performance, I think there is much more in that than between the cars. It doesn't matter about the car. If the team is doing a very good job on the tires, they will be in front. We saw that in Canada, Monaco and Imola. It is what it is, and it will be like this until the end of the season, but it's the same for everyone and we have to do a better job." Helmut Marko says, Red Bull will introduce its latest raft of upgrades over the Austria and Silverstone Grand Prix weekends as it nears the end of its 2025 F1 development. Red Bull gradually introduced revisions to the floor, side pods and front wing across the Miami, Imola, and Barcelona weekends, and its latest refinements to the 2025 car are set to arrive this weekend at its home race in Austria, Red Bull advisor Marko revealed. "We are now getting an update for Austria, which will then be refined again for Silverstone," Marko told Kleine Zeitung. "But if that doesn't work either, then it will be difficult in the World Championship. And it's not as if it's not difficult enough already." Marko expects those upgrades to be Red Bull's last real push for 2025, before the team fully shifts its resources to the all-new regulations coming next year. "There is a precise breakdown of how the wind tunnel and all the tools are used," Marko explained. "At some point, however, people will say, that's it for further development. For 2 reasons. Time, and the production of new parts takes time, and the cost cap. So, the question is, where do you spend your resources? I assume that after Silverstone or Spa, at the latest, there will be a decision to focus entirely on the new car." Marko added that he felt it's not impossible for Red Bull to make up what he believes is around 0.3 of a second per lap on the leading McLarens, but time is ticking. Previewing Red Bull's home race at the Red Bull Ring, he said, "Max Verstappen has won here 5 times. The track suits him. It's not just us who have problems with the tires. Everyone except McLaren is struggling. We are currently probably 3/10 behind McLaren, but in a much smaller working window, which makes it even more difficult. It's not impossible to make up the 3/10, but it has to come now. If the track suits us, like in Jeddah or Suzuka, Imola and Montreal weren't too bad either. Then it works, but the working window is extremely small." Red Bull bringing F1 upgrades to Austria as 2026, and Ferrari Ready Car upgrades as Frederic Vasseur also pinpoints area to improve. Let's see. Like and comments below.